All right, so in section 1.1, we had some questions about number 7. So let's take a look at number 7 for those of you that want to take a look at that. The graph of an arithmetic sequence is shown. Remember, a sequence is just a list of numbers. When you write them down, you separate them by commas. It's a list of numbers. We are studying arithmetic sequences, and that is a list of numbers that are separated by a common difference. Every number is separated by the same common difference. Or you would add a certain integer to get the next one, right? Actually, it doesn't even have to be an integer, does it? It could be any kind of number. You would add a certain number, positive or negative, decimal, rational, whatever, to get the next one, but it has to be consistent. So, in number 7 shows you a graph, and it says, what are the first 5 terms of the sequence? So A should be fairly straightforward for you. You just look at, this is the term number, okay? So remember, independent variable is the term number. So the first term, this dot says that the first term is 5. So it looks like the first term should be 5. The second term should be, this is a bit tougher to tell, isn't it? Yeah, you have to kind of guess. Boy, what does that look like? So it looks like each square here, because there's 5 units between 5 and 10, 2 squares, so each square is about 2.5. Oh, okay. So this looks like it's going to be about a little bit more than 2.5 units above 5, so that looks like 8. Now, how can we confirm this? Let's see. This dot, and this may be a little small for you, I apologize. I'll zoom in a little. Wow, what did I just do? I'll zoom in a bit. So this dot over here looks to be right on the crossing of the grid, right? This one right here. So it looks like the 6th one is 20. So if you're unsure about these ones in between, we can kind of use this information and say, okay, if the first one is 5, the 6th one is 20, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to go 15 units, right? 5 steps is a total of 15. So each of those 5 steps to get to the next number would be 15 divided by 5 is 3. So this is 8. This should be 11, right? This should be 14, and then this should be 17, and sorry, I'm thinking about other stuff. This should be 20. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just using kind of a little bit of intuition, trying to interpret the graph that way. So we got 5, 8, 11, 14, 5. Okay, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 terms. Does that look right? Okay. B, what's the general term of the sequence? Okay, so the general term is like, what is the description? Okay, I guess this was A over here. What's the description for T of n? Okay, so B is, what is T of n? Okay, what does that equal? Well, T of n is T of 1 plus n minus 1 times D. We know that. So do we have enough information to fill in this part of it? Well, T of n, what's the first term we said was? 5, thank you. And the n, we just leave as n, right? Because we want to find the nth term, that's an unknown. So let's leave n as n, 1 is 1, and the D we said was positive 3, correct? So now what we do is we just multiply and gather like terms and simplify the expression, and that's the general term formula. So we've got 5 plus, this is going to be 3n minus 3 when you distribute here. Okay? So we're cracking off some rust here, right, with algebra, manipulating formulas, stuff like that, right? So hopefully this is going okay for you. Simplify this. T of n equals, 5 minus 3. Let's just do that here. So 5 minus 3 is 2 plus 3n. If you want to write it as 3n plus 2, I'm okay with that as well, obviously. Okay. Now, for those of you that have the answer key in front of you or know the right answer, please double check my work because I do not. Okay. I'm just doing this like I would ask you guys to do it. So you check my work, okay? And let me know if I mess up. Okay? All right. That's A and B. Now, I don't know if I should go through all of it. I think maybe more of the questions have to do with D and E maybe, but what is T of 50 and T of 200? That's easy. Put a 50 in here, put a 50 in here, and then solve. Okay? So T of 50 is 153, looks like. Okay? T of 200 would be the same way. Just use your formula. Yeah? It's what? Oh, yeah, right. I copied down 3. Thank you. There you go. See? Hey, there you go. That was a test. That was a test. Who's going to be brave? No. Yes, plus 2. Thank you. So 152. And so on. Good? Okay, D. Describe the relationship between the slope of the graph and your formula from part B. Okay. So the slope of the graph is what? What's the slope of the graph? Again, rise over run for any 2 points. The slope is 3, and we have a 3 right here, right? So the slope of the graph is 3. That's the number that's multiplied by n in your general term. Or in, this is the same as y equals mx plus b. So the m is the slope, right? So you would say, and I won't write it down, but you can write it down, the relationship between the slope and the formula, the number that's multiplied by n should be the slope of the linear relation. The number that is multiplied by n should be the slope of the linear relation. Okay, and finally E, describe the relationship between the y-intercept and your formula. Okay, so let's say, so here's the formula again. I'll just kind of outline this in red. Here's the formula, right? One of those two. And if the y-intercept is going to be where n equals 0, that's the y-intercept. So if we put in a 0 in for n, so for E here, if I have t of 0, which is the y-intercept, then that's going to be 2 plus 3 times 0. So t of 0 is 2, which should be your y-intercept here, if you continue that line. Okay? So the y-intercept is the constant for the general, in the general term, whatever that constant is. The y-intercept is the constant. Okay? Any questions on that? I know I kind of went through that quickly, but only made one mistake. Sorry, that's the last mistake I'll make this month, I promise. I limit myself to 1 a month. Okay, good?